Well, the Autism Society of Southern Arizona exists to serve all affected by autism. They continue to do that with the help of the community during events like the 10th Annual Autism Walk and Resource Fair. To tell us more, Ron Barber and Nicole Glasner are joining me. Thank you so much both for being here.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited.
Well, we're so happy that you made it on the show this morning. And I want to start out by really talking about autism and really just how prevalent it is in our country.
Sure. Well, autism is a severe developmental disability that affects 1 in 68 in America and 1 in 64 children right here in Arizona.
Wow, so bigger numbers than
in Arizona,
expect.
Right?
So the Autism Society, of course, is around to help all of those with autism and their families. So
correct.
Let's really talk about some of the programs and services that you offer.
Absolutely, we have grown so much in the last year. We have a Lego club that really is designed to have kids learn to play together. So it's not just, I have my blue Legos, you may have to come over and ask for something like that. We have sensory-friendly films. We've launched a swim club because drowning is one of the key ways that kids on the spectrum pass away. 90% of all deaths with children with autism under the age of 14 are caused by drowning.
Wow. So
we have a swim club now in place to teach water safety. We have, there's all kinds of things we do. We have Purse for Autism that we came and talked about before with pet therapy.
Right.
So
yeah, the pet therapy, which I think is just incredible.
Right.
Basically, we just couldn't survive here without this amazing organization. And I have a feeling Ron Barber, sitting right next to me, feels the same way.
I absolutely do. You know, before I went to work for Congresswoman Giffords and before I was in Congress myself, I spent 32 years as the regional and then the state director of the Arizona Department or Division of Developmental Disabilities. And one of the 4 groups that we served were children and adults with autism. Back in those days, and this is going back to when I started in '74, the number of children and adults with autism was very small. And it was mostly because we didn't have good diagnostic information.
Right.
We didn't really know the spectrum. And now, as was pointed out by Nicole, 1 in 64 Arizona children are diagnosed with autism. So we've come a long way, both in terms of diagnosis and treatment options. But my biggest shout out goes to the parents, the families that I worked with when I was in that job. Amazing people, because the pressures on parents is significant. If you have a child with disability, no matter what, it is. But I think there's it's a very tough job being a mom and dad for a kid with autism. And I have the highest regard for Nicole and other parents who do that. And I just want to help get more resources into the Autism Society because they do such a good job with families.
Definitely. I mean, what an amazing person to have on the chair,
I know,
celebrity
right? We are
chair
so lucky
for this wonderful event. And I know that they're so grateful to have you, and to have you as a voice for them is really quite special. So let's talk about the 10th annual event. It's already 10 years. I can't believe it.
I know, me too.
So let's talk about the event itself.
Sure, it's April 9th. Registration starts at 7:30 in the morning. We actually start walking at 9. We have over 50 resources available for people, so it's also a resource fair. It's kind of a one-stop shopping for everyone who needs information with any type of disability, not just autism. And we really like doing that. We will promote a lot of our programs there, so you can see that where your funds go are for these programs, so we can help the parents that Ron talked about. We do most of our programs for little or zero cost, and so we know how much it is for parents to pay, and you have therapies and you have everything else. This is one thing that we can give back, but the way we can do that is through the funds raised at the block.
Absolutely.
It's so important because a few years ago, probably 12 or 13 years ago, Arizona eligibility for developmental disability services, if you had autism, reduced the number of people on the spectrum who could be eligible, including children with Asperger's. It was a very bad move, in my view. But what that did is created a whole group of people who have children with autism who don't qualify for state services or Medicaid services. So I think we have to continue to work with organizations, particularly Autism Society, that provides the extra support that the government doesn't provide. I think we should change the eligibility, but until we can do that, the Autism Society plays a critical role in supporting families.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like we have come a long way in the last 10 years for autism, but we have a lot further to go.
Absolutely.
And this event is going to kind of get us a little bit closer, as long as we have a great turnout, because those funds are so needed so that we can continue to provide these programs for little to no cost for families. That's huge.
Right, and I mean, when we talk about like a lot of the programs, we have people who come to the sensory-friendly films for the first time that they've ever even been able to come to a movie at all. We have people coming up and giving us hugs and tears just because that's an experience that they never felt that they could ever have with a child on the spectrum.
Well, it just
And so
must feel so good to know that you're doing this.
Right.
You know, this organization is helping so much, and these children are getting these experiences that they wouldn't have otherwise.
In addition to that, it provides an important public education component.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The
Because
awareness
there's-
factor.
Yeah, there's still a lot of stereotypical thinking or misinformation about children with autism, and adults for that matter. But more and more we're seeing organizations like the Botanical Gardens, for example, that has a program that brings children in with disabilities so they can enjoy plant life and just learn. The butterflies are there, horse and other kind of animal therapy. I mean, these are programs that really allow children and adults with autism to be part of their community.
Definitely.
And the Autism Society is a leader in that.
Well, we couldn't thank you enough for the amazing work you do in our community.
very
And
much.
please come by any time to be on our show. We definitely want to do our part in helping.
Thank you.
So we're going to let everybody know how to register for the
Perfect.
event.
I was just
and
gonna
all
jump in
of the
there.
details, don't you worry. I'm going to make sure everybody knows how to
Thank
get
you.
there. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you for
Pleasure.
having
Thank
us.
you.
And the 10th annual Autism Walk and Resource Fair will take place April 11th from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 2600 North Wyatt Drive. For more details, call 770-1541 or visit www.asaz.org.